Hello.
Good morning.
I'm Kimberly,
I'm Jen.
and this is That Vegan Morning Show.
Good morning, Kimberly. Look at us. We're up early.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's so painful today. Oh,
Yes, because where we are in the US, we sprung ahead. So we moved the clock an hour yesterday.
mhm.
And yeah, so my brain still thinks it's 6 a.m. right now.
Yeah. Oh, and it's dark, like so dark, like the middle of the night dark.
Mm-hmm. Yup.
I'll be happy later when it's 7 o'clock and the sun is just starting to set. But my goodness, am I exhausted right now?
It hurts. The only
It
the
does.
only being that I know who loves this is my cat Minora because she likes to be fed as soon as possible. So
She was like, yesterday morning, she's like, yes, one less hour to wait.
yeah, I showed her.
She just spends all year waiting.
Right? She probably does. She's not, it's such a pain when we fall back an hour. And I've read how you should like start like a week before, like feeding them like a little bit later each by 15 minutes
Yeah.
in advance, but I don't think that far in advance. I'm like, oh crap, tomorrow's daylight. And then I have to adjust with her, during that week.
Yeah. I did notice yesterday that the cats here, they were not interested in breakfast when I first gave it to them. They were like, "What are you doing? It's too early."
Really? I guess
But
they wouldn't get along with Minora then.
no, they'd be like, "Girl, go back to sleep. What are you doing?"
She'd be like, I'm eating and then I'm going back to sleep, which is what she's doing right now. So, Kimberly, how was your weekend other
My
than
weekend,
changing time?
yeah, beside losing an hour of precious, precious sleep, um, my weekend was great. Didn't really do anything, exciting, really. Saturday did involve a significant nap. So,
Ooh,
an interesting
very
thing
jealous of this.
I mean, I'll admit it's real nice that I can just do that. Not complaining. But something I've learned as I start to understand some of the things about me is that sometimes caffeine actually makes me very sleepy. And it
Mm.
turns out that's a very common thing for like ADHD people. I guess it's like we're so high strung or something that the caffeine like actually takes us down a notch.
Oh,
But
no.
anyway, I tried this like vegan energy drink that JP was enjoying. And I'm not really an energy drink person. I'm much more just like coffee. But I tried it and he was like, there's a lot of caffeine in this. So like don't drink the whole thing. I only drank like half of it. And and then we were like sitting around and I was like, oh my, I'm so tired. I'm gonna go take a nap. And then nap for like 3 hours. Oh,
Ooh, so
Daisy was so
good.
happy though. The two of us were just snuggled up in the bed. It was
Aw,
good. Yeah. The highlight of my
sounds
weekend.
that sounds lovely.
How was your weekend?
It was good. I wish I was snuggled up napping. My weekend was good. What did I do Saturday? I did stuff around the house and just did some business things. It was like a little bit colder. And usually my husband and I try to take one of the days of the weekend to do something together. So we figured since, yesterday was like 65 degrees here,
Mhm.
we were like, let's save our hangout day for like the better weather. So we went to Minnewaska State Park, not far from New Paltz. It's maybe like 15 minutes away from New Paltz. And they have this waterfall there and a lake. And the trail by the waterfall was open, but it was still covered in snow that is in the process of melting.
Mhm.
And this waterfall was just so beautiful. I was like, because of all the snow runoff, it was just like,
Mhm.
I'll have to send you video later. I had to take
Yeah,
video of it.
of
And just
course.
of the waterfall and walking through the snow. It was like a surreal experience because it looked cold with all the snow, but it was spring weather.
Nice.
So yeah, it was really nice. And then we walked around New Paltz a little bit, hung out at Lagustas, which is an amazing vegan chocolate place. That I had a matcha there and a Earl Grey shortbread cookie. Nice. That was just divine. And their matcha, I don't know what they do with their matcha, but it's like drinking a cloud. It's extra fluffy. I don't know what they do to make it feel like I'm drinking a green cloud, but
yeah. Oh my goodness. I've got to get up there.
Yes. We should go together and have a New Paltz field trip because there's also Little Loaf Bake Shop.
Yes.
And then there's Karma Road. And there's no shortage of vegan goodness in New Paltz.
That's fantastic because we stop at 1, we have some snacks, we go take a walk, we have some more snacks, we go take a walk.
Yes, exactly. I like how you think, girl.
Perfect.
So we have a big show. We always have a big show.
We do.
We are going to be talking about today, can you be an environmentalist and still consume animal products? And this is a big debate. And I went on Reddit too, just to like poke around because that's a good place to check out debates.
That's true.
And I also have my own thoughts on it. But Kimberly, would you like to go first and share your thoughts?
Sure.
All right.
I'd love to. The answer is no.
Okay.
End of show.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go take a nap.
I do think that the answer is no. And I have some reasons why I think that.
Okay.
But I remember when I have a shirt, I tried to find it, but it's still packed away somewhere. I have a shirt that says real environmentalists don't eat meat. And then it has like statistics across the shirt of all the things. And I mean, look, it's from the early 2000s, so the statistics certainly have changed. But I would bet that they are the same issues that you and I are going to talk about today.
Probably bigger and worse now.
Yeah. So like there's a bunch of reasons why the answer is no, but the 3 areas that I chose to focus on are that animal agriculture drives deforestation. It creates destruction of wildlife, and it is a significant water polluter and depleter. So I'll go with the first one, and then I'll kick it over to you, and we can kind of go back and forth if that's okay.
Yeah.
So it drives deforestation, and it got me thinking about a few years ago, I think like 2022, there were a lot of reports about the Amazon burning. And I remember people like losing their minds about the Amazon just being on fire.
I remember that.
Yeah. And they were like, how do we stop this? Blaming it on the indigenous peoples of the Amazon rainforest and not truly looking at their actions, government actions, things like that. And the significant reason why the Amazon is burning is because that land is raised to then plant crops like soy that are then used to feed animals to be raised for slaughter, or the land is raised for cattle ranching. So it flattens the earth and then the cattle destroy it further by living on that piece of land until they are trucked off to be slaughtered. And so it also is lucrative because there's a lot of money to be made. So people are illegally burning the rainforest, which means that sometimes they are not controlled fires and things go haywire. And so they're burning areas that maybe they hadn't even intended. And then they're bringing in, again, the crops or the animals to then make them more money. So we're commodifying the land, we're commodifying the animals. The Amazon rainforest is the most biodiverse area in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So when we light it on fire, the animals, the plants, the trees that live there don't survive. Now, the animals can move if they sense a fire. Some of them will relocate, but
Yeah.
they're not all going to be able to escape the fire. And obviously, plants and trees cannot move. So if we're burning full areas, we're losing this biodiversity. And the Amazon rainforest also holds in the most like CO2 in the world as well. And so every time we burn it down, not only are we releasing all of the toxins that a fire creates, but also all of the toxins in the air that the Amazon rainforest has cleaned for us. And so now we're also polluting the air. But this like I was trying to read my note there. Yeah, it's that like according to Greenpeace, the primary drivers of this burning really is the agribusiness and making money off of again commodifying animals and commodifying the land. So if we want to maintain if we call ourselves advocates for the rainforest, for this biodiverse area in the world, for plants, conservation talks not just about wildlife, but always about the plant life on Earth. And so when we are actively destroying an area as significant as the Amazon rainforest, we are working against what conservation should be. What are your thoughts?
I think that's a very valid point you just shared. And yeah, I'm back.
You are. Okay.
I was like, of course, it's my turn to talk, and my Wi-Fi is being weird. Yeah, so yeah, you brought up a very valid point there, right? That is very destructive. And there are a lot of people who are like, well, the Amazon rainforest is far from me. Why should I be concerned by that? Well, we're all in the same snow globe here. And and air travels, right? We need the benefits from the trees to filter, right, the air and produce oxygen. And if you start depleting that in other parts of the world, everyone's going to be feeling that. We're all connected. And so, yeah, that was a very important point that you brought up. So, yeah, I was grappling with this. Can you still be considered an environmentalist and not be vegan? So I have a slightly different answer, but it still connects and backs up to the things you were saying. My answer is yes, but. And I have a couple of things I'm going to say, but it's all going to connect. And I remember you and I talked about this, but I'm going to share it with our listeners.
Yeah.
So my husband and I sometimes watch Married at First Sight, trashy show that's engaging and interesting and and it's so stupid, but yet still get sucked in. Anyway, there was one we were watching. They came out a long time ago, but we were in a phase early this year just binging them. And there was this guy who was a hardcore environmentalist. And the woman he married, like she was open to, things he was saying, but he was like driving her crazy. And, he ran a nonprofit that took care of the beach. This particular one was in California. And he was just always like lecturing people about plastic and this and that. And then would eat a big giant cheeseburger. And I used to yell at the TV and drive my non-vegan husband crazy. And like, who is he lecturing people about all these things? And then he's eating a cheeseburger, right?
Yeah.
And to me, that's hypocrisy. Now, the other part of my answer is, so I looked up the definition of an environmentalist. And the first sentence is a person who is concerned with or advocates for the environment. So you can, I believe you can be an environment. You can be someone who cares about the environment and not be vegan. However, why aren't you being vegan knowing you do know about the environment?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I came to in all my research and pondering on this subject is, okay, sure, you can be an environmentalist, but you also have work to do as an environmentalist. If you're still eating animal products and knowing and then I went on Reddit and there were people talking about this and debating about it. And yeah, it can be, my guess is it's probably cognitive dissonance, right? Inconvenient truths, right? And so, yeah, so that's where I came to on this. And so, yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Kimberly?
So I totally see what you're saying. And based on the definition, I see why that's the direction that you've gone in. And I appreciate the thought there and how maybe we can encourage people who do consider themselves environmentalists, who are lecturing people about not using plastic and stuff like that. I love though, like with the whole like plastic straw thing, right? When a lot of companies were like, okay, we're not going to do plastic straws anymore, paper straws, and people like losing their minds about having to use a paper straw, getting soggy in their soda, whatever. And I remember
they are terrible, by the way. I hate them.
They really are. You got to drink real fast before that paper straw disintegrates. But I remember seeing like all over the internet things like, you guys will, change out your straws, but you won't stop eating fish to save the fish, And
right.
So there is work to do. And I do appreciate people who, look at things that are happening in the environment and say, how can we do this better? It's frustrating how blind people are, whether it's because they've chosen to ignore it or they are not educated in it. But it's frustrating how people are not connecting that the animal agriculture business, which is huge and is one of the greatest polluters and environmental destroyers of our time, and they're just not making that connection because it really is not easy. It's not convenient all the time. You have to change so much of your life when you go vegan, right? We've talked about this on countless shows. It isn't just what we're changing, how we eat. It's how we interact with the world. It's how we interact with the people in our lives. It changes relationships. Some relationships end because of it, because of this choice, people going vegan. And so there's this significant impact to all things. So I know that is why some people remain closed off to it. And they maybe even feel that by calling themselves an environmentalist, but while talking about don't use plastic, saving the water, that they do these things and that kind of like balances things out. I don't know. But I agree that there is work to be done. And I totally understand why you were yelling at your TV at that guy while he was lecturing people and then eating a cheeseburger.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad you agreed with me.
Yeah.
Ellie thought I was being too much. But he's not vegan, so.
That's right. Yeah. So different perspective.
Yeah. But it's all good. It's all good. We all respect each other here. Well, I wanted to add, there's a book that you and I have read before called Eat for the Planet. And you got it right there. I listened to the audio version of it. And I remember there was a fact that I had written down to illustrate how much goes into a pound of beef. Okay. So one of the tidbits that I had jotted down from this back when I read this is it takes about 1,800 gallons of water on average to produce 1 pound of meat, which is the equivalent of doing 120 loads of dishes in your dishwasher.
Wow.
Think about that. 1 pound of meat.
Right.
Right? How much? And again, I think people are too comfortable, especially like there are areas in this world where water is scarce, right?
Yeah.
A lot of us, thankfully, haven't experienced that. So if you live in a country where, water is not a concern, you're not going to think about it, right? You get comfortable about that. But that's a lot of waste. And again, the earth can only handle so much. And that, why wait till all of a sudden we notice? Like, let's be proactive. Let's take care of our resources. And then also there's, again, like what you were talking about, the land, not to mention all the food it takes to feed a cow.
Right.
And cows are getting their nutrients from the plants as well. And we can get a lot of nutrients from plants. So it just makes sense to do that instead. It's much more environmental friendly to just focus on the plants instead of giving all, and you would feed more, there'd be less starvation in the world too, right? Because you'll have all this food that can be distributed. And so as I was thinking about that, I have a question I want to ask you. And I'm sure you've gotten this question because I know I've gotten this question from non-vegans. So if you stop, killing animals for food, then overpopulation of animals on the planet. Would you like to answer that one, Kimberly?
Sure. That's a stupid question. I wish people would stop asking it because, first of all, the world's not going to go vegan overnight, right? So as we reduce the amount of animals being eaten, we're not breeding as many animals. And so we would not have where we would be overrun with animals, right? They would have the opportunity to rewild maybe, and then, have kind of a more reasonable interaction with the world because there wouldn't be billions of them being birthed and then slaughtered, on a yearly basis. So I think that I wish people would stop asking that question because it really is one of these things where non-vegans see it as a gotcha, where they feel like, well, vegans won't have an answer for this. Be like that, like the chance that everyone would go vegan overnight would ever happen is just insane. So
but it should happen now.
It should. I wish it would. I do wish it would.
Yeah.
But we're not going to be overrun with animals. And there are so many like studies and stuff that show what you were saying about if we stopped eating animals and we started eating the food that we grow for animals, that we could actually end world hunger. Yeah. No one would need to be hungry anywhere in the world because there would be food to, even if it had to be transported to wherever those people are, there would be grains and vegetables and pulses and legumes that would be available because they wouldn't be being fed to these animals that need to grow to 5,000 pounds in the first couple of years of their life before they're slaughtered, or months even. And so it's a ridiculous question, but thank you for asking it.
Yes, it is a ridiculous question. And it drives me crazy whenever I get it. Yeah. But and thank you for answering it. Yeah, and that's what I do say to people as well when they bring that up.
Yeah.
And when, the other part that's also damaging to the environment is all the waste that comes from the various farms that raise animals for food. And especially North Carolina is an example. There's pig farms there where the people who live miles away from it can't even have their windows open because it travels in the breeze and people are getting sick. And and because these are areas in big cities, right? The only people who know about this who live around there. And so again, out of sight, out of mind, right? But if you go and you look it up, it's terrible. One of my favorite documentaries I watched over last fall was They're Trying to Kill Us. And they showed a pig farm. You can watch it for free on Unchained TV. At least I could a few months ago, so I'm assuming it's still there. But you'll see that they show a pig farm there, and just the way that the owner of the farm didn't really seem to, it's all about money, right? Ending world hunger. You're talking about if everyone, if we grew plants, we would be able to end world hunger. Well, that's not very profitable now, is it?
Yeah, I know.
Not to mention people would be healthier because they're eating plants. And there'd be less pollution, right? And again, that's not very profitable if you're,
and
trying to make a lot of money and kill people in the process, and animals, killing animals and people, all for money.
The like cesspools and stuff that you've mentioned, they're impacting the air, like you said, and people can't open their windows. They're suffering from all kinds of cancers and respiratory illnesses, and it also seeps into the groundwater. And now the water is contaminated as well. It's full of nitrates from the waste, and it's also full of antibiotics because these animals are kept in such stressful, intense situations in these factory farms that they are constantly sick. And so they are given antibiotics to either stop them from getting sick or to try to prevent them from getting more sick. And so that is getting into our water, that goes into the groundwater and finds its way into the rivers and the streams. And groundwater spreads, right? So it isn't just contained where these farms are, it moves. And that means it's taking all of those contaminants with it. And it's making its way to killing fish and other wildlife. Animals who drink that water are being contaminated. And it creates this system of just like chemical filled water, and like nothing is then safe from it.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Kimberly, because I can't remember specifically when it is, but within the past couple of years, there have been a few instances where like lettuce and onions, plant products have been contaminated with E. coli. And that didn't happen because they're plants.
Right.
It happened because of runoff from animal agriculture that was taking place near the farm that was growing these plant products. And that runoff made people sick. E. coli is a very serious thing to get. And so this is another way where that can cause harm.
Yeah. Oh, it's so much. And I have one more topic. I know we're running out of time, so I want to just squeeze this in quickly. But I want to talk about the impact of wildlife that the animal agriculture system has. And beyond the potential for drinking contaminated water, that kind of stuff, I think people don't think about this as well because we don't see it unless maybe we live on a farm or around a factory farm, is that there are wild animals who live in these areas, coyotes, foxes, bears, and those are seen as threats to the investment the farmers or the company who owns the farm have made in the animals they are commodifying for food. So when coyotes or foxes or whatever are around a lot, they are being killed because they can't risk, the farmer can't risk a coyote coming in and, or a fox coming in and eating all their chickens or attacking a bunch of their chickens, or a coyote. I don't know if coyotes take down cows, but like, they can't have these wildlife, the wildlife coming in and messing with their profit. And so they are being targeted, and not just in like shootings. There are areas where people will get into like a helicopter and they will chase animals, and when they will shoot them from the air.
Oh
Coyotes and wolves suffer from this quite a bit. But in addition to that, they're also using poison. So we see, you and I live close enough to New York City where we know that like the rats are being poisoned. And when the rats are poisoned, then the pigeons also get poisoned because they're in those same areas. And then the birds of prey get poisoned because they eat the rats who've eaten the poison. And we actually did a whole show about it. So maybe we can link to that. And so this is happening in those areas as well. They're putting out the poison to take out, maybe the birds or the foxes or the bears or whoever. And then it is animals who are not being targeted by these programs are also being poisoned, whether directly or indirectly. And so we're losing wildlife because of that as well. So I say, if you're concerned about conservation, you're concerned about the environment, you have to look at how animal agriculture is destroying that.
I am so glad you brought that up, because that is another important aspect to this very complex discussion. And I really love how well-rounded it was. Like, we touched on all these different things. And my goodness, it's already 7:32. Time went by fast. Yeah. And I feel like that's a great way to, this up, is bringing those points up that you just brought up. And if you care about the environment and you're not being vegan, at least, and I get it. It's a transition. It can't happen. It's hard. It took me 2 years to be vegan, but start, right? Just, even though I have, my other family members are not vegan, we do not have a lot of non-vegan products in the house because of that. Like, every little bit helps. So, start educating yourself on, if you're someone who's an environmentalist and you're not vegan, start educating yourself, learning more about these horrible impacts, because a lot of it's kept hidden and out of sight until people like us are bringing it to everyone's attention. And so you can be an environmentalist if you're not being vegan, but you could be a better environmentalist and not hypocritical if you were vegan. So those are my final thoughts on that.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. I agree. And yes, if you don't care about the animals and their suffering, which some people don't, they can't make that connection, but they care about the environment, lean on that and tell your friends about it and show them how consuming animals is actively working against your goals and your vision of a beautiful, well cared for planet.
Yeah. I love that last statement, Kimberly. Well said.
Thank you.
This was great. It went by so fast.
It did.
Anything happening for you this week that you want to promote?
Yes. Thank you so much. New episode of Did You Bring the Hummus out today with Robin Singh of People Farm. So Robin achieved financial freedom, didn't have to work anymore, was able to play Xbox all day if he wanted to, and he was miserable. So he set out on a path to try to uncover how to be happy, what that means, how to find purpose in his life. And so we talk all about that. He is the author of this book here, Happiness Happens. And it is a gorgeous cover. The photo will be on Instagram, so you can see it there. But it's a great book, and Robin was a great interview. He shares a lot of really cool things. So, wherever you get your podcasts, pull up Did You Bring the Hummus and check out the latest episode. What about you?
I love that. That sounds great, and I'm looking forward to hearing it. And I like that perspective of, I think a lot of us think, oh, money will solve all my problems.
Yeah. Yep, it does.
Nope. I mean, it would solve a lot of my problems, but let's see. Well, I am working on finishing up my cookbook review of How Not to Die, so I hope to have that up on Monday. I ended up posting something else last week, so I'm going to get that out this week. I've just been so busy with like a lot of things, a lot of interviews and editing and stuff we're doing for that vegan morning.
Mm-hmm. So exciting. All right. Well, okay. I was just going to be like, well, I guess the internet has decided the show is done.
I don't know what's going on with my computer. It's so frustrating. But anyway, this was great. We better wrap up now before it acts weird again.
Good plan.
All right. Well, it was great chatting with you and hanging out with you, Kimberly, as always. And please, anyone watching, let us know your thoughts on this conversation. We would love to hear from you. Let us know in the comments below. And Kimberly or I will get back to you on that as soon as we can.
Yeah. Let us know what other areas of conservation and environmentalism should we be looking at and considering, maybe even for a future episode.
Oh, yeah. Good point too. We always use another topic.
Yeah.
All right. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye.